Kamala Harris is a prominent figure in American politics, having achieved a series of unprecedented milestones. She is the first Black woman elected as Attorney General in California's history, as well as the first woman to hold this position in the state. Additionally, she became the first American of Indian descent elected to the U.S. Senate. Today, as the first Black woman and the first Asian American Vice President of the United States, she opens the door to the possibility of being the first woman to hold the presidency, enhancing her role in reshaping the American political landscape. Born on October 20th, 1964, in Oakland, California, Kamala Devi Harris is the eldest daughter of Shyamala Gopalan, a prominent cancer researcher from India, and Donald Harris, an economist from Jamaica. Her parents met at the University of California, Berkeley, while pursuing graduate studies, sharing a mutual passion for the civil rights movement that was notably active on campus. Her mother chose the name Kamala as a nod to her Indian roots, meaning lotus, a symbol associated with the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, representing wealth and prosperity. Kamala's parents divorced when she was 7 years old, and her mother raised her and her sister Maya in Berkeley. Her maternal grandfather, P.V. Gopalan, a distinguished Indian diplomat and public policy expert, played a significant role in shaping Kamala's awareness of the importance of public service. He was a well-known figure in India, involved in developmental and governmental policies aimed at improving citizens' lives. This family legacy of social and political struggle profoundly influenced Kamala's political journey, instilling values of justice and equality from an early age. Kamala Harris began her career as a lawyer after passing the bar exam in 1990, joining the Alameda County District Attorney's Office in Oakland. There, she focused on sexual assault cases, a choice that initially raised concerns within her family, who were skeptical of her career path. Aware of the historically negative reputation associated with prosecutors, Kamala believed in her ability to effect change from within and work toward achieving justice. Shortly after entering the legal field, Kamala emerged as a committed leader for positive change. In the early 1990s, she was recruited to work in the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, where she led a comprehensive campaign against juvenile prostitution, focusing on reclassifying laws to treat girls as victims rather than offenders. This humanitarian approach was part of her broader philosophy regarding the importance of social justice and criminal justice reform. Throughout her career, Kamala has shown a steadfast commitment to advocating for the most vulnerable, working to promote policies that enhance equality and justice for all. In 2003, Kamala Harris decided to run for District Attorney of San Francisco, challenging her former boss, Terrence Hallinan. With the support of influential friends in San Francisco, she secured the necessary funding for her first campaign. Her message was clear: "We are as progressive as Terrence, but more efficient." With this strong message, Harris won the runoff election with 56.5% of the votes, becoming the first Black woman elected district attorney in California. During her early years as district attorney, she achieved a notable improvement in conviction rates in San Francisco, increasing the rate from 52% to over 70%. However, her tenure was not without controversy. In 2004, she declined to pursue the death penalty against the murderer of a San Francisco police officer, sparking significant outrage among law enforcement, particularly during the officer's funeral when Senator Dianne Feinstein publicly criticized her in front of hundreds of officers. Additionally, Harris faced other criticisms related to an incident involving her office's crime lab, where a technician stole cocaine and mishandled evidence, resulting in the dismissal of around 1,000 drug-related cases. Despite these challenges, Harris continued to advance, and in 2010, during her second term as San Francisco District Attorney, she announced her candidacy for Attorney General of California. Initially, few believed she could win, especially since she was competing against well-known Republican Steve Cooley. However, she succeeded in winning this race, further solidifying her status as one of the leading figures in American politics. In 2010, Kamala Harris faced a crucial race for Attorney General of California. The contest was so close that her opponent, Steve Cooley, declared victory on election night, and the San Francisco Chronicle regarded him as the winner. However, 3 weeks later, after all votes were counted, Harris was declared the victor by a narrow margin of 0.8%. As Attorney General, Harris turned down a $4 billion settlement offer in the mortgage crisis, successfully securing $20 billion for homeowners in California, gaining fame despite some accusations of exaggeration. One of her notable achievements was the establishment of the Open Justice Platform, which made criminal justice data accessible to the public, contributing to improved police accountability. In 2013, President Barack Obama stirred controversy when he referred to her as the best-looking Attorney General, and he later had to apologize following criticisms that the remark was sexist. Amid rumors of a possible Supreme Court nomination, Harris made it clear that she was not interested. In 2014, Harris married lawyer Doug Emhoff in a private ceremony and became a stepmother to his 2 children, who affectionately call her Momala. Then in 2016, she won a seat in the U.S. Senate, defeating fellow Democrat Loretta Sanchez. Harris gained prominence in 2017 during her pointed questioning of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and employed a similar strategy during the confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh in 2018. She made a strong debut in the first Democratic debate of her presidential campaign when she criticized Joe Biden over his stance on busing in the 1970s, using a compelling personal story. However, despite a temporary rise in her polling numbers, she later experienced a decline in support for her campaign. In 2019, Kamala Harris faced multiple challenges during her presidential campaign. During a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, she questioned Attorney General William Barr about his handling of the Mueller report, prompting a negative response from President Donald Trump, who described her as bad in 2 consecutive television interviews. On another front, Harris's inconsistent stance on health care raised questions among voters. In one session, she stated her support for abolishing private health care, but later retracted that statement, clarifying that she misunderstood the question. Ultimately, she launched a health care plan that included private insurance, but she failed to dispel the doubts surrounding her position. Throughout her campaign, Harris avoided discussing her record as Attorney General in detail, fearing criticism from left-leaning voters on criminal justice issues. This hesitation, combined with her tepid response to attacks from Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard regarding her record, left many voters uncertain about her positions. In December 2019, after closely examining her campaign's financial situation and low poll numbers, Harris decided to end her campaign a month before the Iowa caucuses. Internal disruptions cost her presidential bid, as her aides accused her of mistreating her staff through abrupt firings and allowing her sister Maya to gain significant influence. Despite her early withdrawal from the presidential race, Harris did not endorse Joe Biden until March 2020, after all the women had exited the race and his nomination became undeniable. She expressed her support for him following the California primary, affirming that he was a leader capable of uniting the people. Away from politics, Harris leads an active life. She typically wakes up at 6 a.m. to exercise for half an hour. Her day begins with a bowl of Raisin Bran with almond milk and enjoys cooking, having tried numerous recipes from The Art of Simple Food. She describes herself as a tough boss, but often relies on herself. Despite all her accomplishments, Harris rejects comparisons to former President Barack Obama. When asked about continuing his legacy during her presidential campaign, she replied clearly, "I have my own legacy." Nevertheless, she has made history as the first woman, the first Black American, and the first Asian American to serve as Vice President of the United States. Her enduring motto, inspired by her mother, is, "You may be the first, but make sure you are not the last." While Kamala Harris continued her efforts to promote justice and equality, she began to look beyond the borders of her state. She believed that changing the world starts with changing laws and policies, so she visited underserved communities across the country. During her tours, she listened to people's stories and recorded every experience and tragedy in her notes, determined to incorporate those stories into her plans. When she announced her candidacy alongside Donald Trump, the goal was to unite the forces of change. She knew that her alliance with a figure like Trump would provide a platform to showcase new ideas and empower individuals to actively participate in political life. She launched innovative marketing campaigns focused on issues like free education, healthcare for all, and immigrant rights. At one of her campaign events, she met an elderly woman from an underserved community who spoke about losing her home due to rental policies. That story deeply affected her, and she decided to include it in her opening speech. She used that moment to highlight the importance of affordable housing policy, affirming that all Americans deserve a place where they feel safe. As Election Day approached, her support was noticeably increasing. She launched a social media campaign under the slogan, "Towards a Better Future," where she shared videos telling the real experiences of people suffering due to the current system. This brought her closer to the voters, who felt that she understood their problems. As she prepared for the debates, she began receiving advice from her advisors. But Kamala knew that what she really needed was to speak from the heart. When she entered the first debate, she was excited and faced Trump with courage. She used her unique style of discussion, which made her stand out as a strong leader, distinguishing her from the other candidates. At the end of each debate, she would return home and review the videos, expressing pride in the moments she managed to amplify people's voices. These experiences, alongside her personal memories, made her a symbol of hope. On election night, thousands gathered in the celebration square. Kamala Harris watched the results with anticipation, feeling immense pride in what she had accomplished. When the results were announced with her victory, the scene was filled with joy and tears, marking the beginning of a new chapter not just in her life, but in the history of the country as well. In this way, Kamala Harris continued to open doors for future generations, determined to be a voice for the needy and an advocate for social justice, thus becoming a role model everywhere. Wisdom. Real change begins with listening to people's stories and understanding their struggles. True strength lies in believing that every voice has value and the power to make a difference. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Kamala Harris's chances in the political landscape? Share your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our other videos on influential political figures for more insights.